Hello, everyone. This is Loretta Sernowski from Remax Fine Properties, your Canadian realtor in Arizona. Welcome to another episode of Living in Arizona. And today we are discussing how to prepare financially before moving or investing in Arizona. And my special guest today is Charles W. Parker. Welcome.
Hi, how you doing? Thank you for having me.
What the W is for?
William.
Charles William. I should start with my middle initial. It sounds so much more sophisticated.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, everyone that knows me, my nickname is Bill.
Not Chuck.
No, it's Bill.
Well, do you want me to call you Bill or Charles?
You know what? Whichever you prefer, I'm good with.
Okay. Well, let's start about you telling us about your background and how you built the Parker method. What is the Parker method?
So, kind of give you a big outlook about what I've done. I was actually born in Puerto Rico. Lived there for roughly about 11 years or so, and then moved to California, was raised there. And lived there for majority of my life, and actually moved to Arizona in 2001. That's where I met my kid's mother and had my two beautiful children, Caleb and Bella. Before, getting into credit, I spent a great majority of the time, over 9 years, as a financial aid director for the University of Phoenix, then flipped over to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. So that's where all my student loan education comes from, that I'm able to help people, because I know I work directly with the Department of Education and things like that. So kind of like, if you look at the big picture, finance is almost in my DNA. I'm a numbers guy. So when in 2008, when kind of like the economy got a little speed bump, my credit took a serious blow, because during that time, I did get divorced from my kid's mother. So I ended up taking on all the debt per choice as part of the divorce. And what I did was my credit took such a big hit that I did all the research. I wrote letters. I rebuilt my own credit myself. In that process, I kind of realized, compared to my financial aid background, that there was something more to make easier. And then I had a conversation with my older sister, Sharon, and I was telling her everything that I did. And she's like, why don't you just open up your own company and start it? I mean, it's logical. So at that time, I started AZ Credit Mix. That's the original name of the company. And then just recently, I changed it over to a Parker method, because I'm revamping the whole thing to be more educational, help clients, but at the same time be more educational, and also deal and work with existing lawyers that we work with. So now, roughly with the Parker method, I've been doing it about 17 years. And on top of that, I'm also an instructor for credit, among other classes, for the Department of Real Estate, for the Arizona Department of Real Estate. So that's kind of like everything in a nutshell, I guess.
You got a lot of knowledge. So I'm always amazed when people have a financial background, because it really is not my strong suit. I wish it was, but it's just not. And I'm just like, I was really good in English and, creative arts. And were you really good in math when you were a kid?
Honestly, regular numbers, adding, subtracting, all that good stuff, yes, I was. I mean, it was just, it became easy. And I can be my own calculator in my head, in a sense. So it made it simple for me to figure things out. Was I a good student in math in school? My teachers might say different.
What about long division?
So.
And does he even know what that is anymore?
I know. I just see numbers, and then my brain just works differently and starts figuring things out. It's hard to explain sometimes. You just, how do you do that? I'm like, well, it's just my brain just starts sticking it here and looking at different numbers and, where to put them, how to do it, and things like that.
So I guess when you say that you have this strength, and I feel like people, when they're trying to save up for something or trying to pay off, the reason that they're maybe in that situation is they're not good with numbers, and that is not their strong suit. So is that part of helping them with a budget, and not just saying, here's a table, go plug in the numbers? Like, do you have more of a coaching aspect, or can you expand on that?
Yeah, like right now, I'm usually utilizing AI pretty extensively because it does, work pretty well. So what I do with clients right now, even clients that come in to get their credit fixed, I'll tell them, because if you want me to do a budget for you, I will plug in the informations, because I taught my system on what I wanted to do.
Oh, wow. And what do you use for AI? Do you use Claude or?
Claude.
Yeah.
I love Claude.
Everyone's saying that ChatGPT is so yesterday.
I've caught ChatGPT lying to me a couple times. And I called it out, I'm like, hey, no, that's not the way it goes. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. Let me get back on track. I'm like, shit, that was Mergedo. But yeah, what I do is I talk the AI to listen, okay, here's what I want out of you. And then it'll tell me, okay, here's what the person's bringing in a month. Here's their monthly bills. Here's what they should be paying. Maybe they should be paying X down compared to this. Put kind of like a financial script together where they can kind of easily follow, because a lot of people, when it comes to financing and when it comes to budgeting, they get intimidated.
Of course, because they're not good at it.
Also, in our schools, we don't get taught to budget correctly. So like I told a client the other day where he was saying something like, I'm so, disappointed in myself to get to this point. I'm like, why? No, when was the last time you had a class in credit? He's like, I don't know. Because when was the last time you had a class in budget? He's like, well, because maybe a little bit, and because he was older, maybe a little bit in junior high, maybe high school. I'm like, yeah, but that was then. This is now. We don't even teach that now to our kids.
Yeah, so after all these years, I don't understand it. A couple of years ago, I sponsored financial planning class that's like part of the Dave Ramsey, which I thought was really cool that they were teaching this to kids. But I mean, that's only if someone like me sponsors that course and stuff. I just, I don't know why we're sending these people out into the world. That should be the number one thing before a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like, even if you want to be an artist, then you should know how to manage your money so you can art. Yeah. Even the creative people still need to know how to do that. So who are your clients that you typically work with?
Right now I deal with individuals and families. That's the biggest thing. Sometimes, depending on what they want to do, business owners, because the one thing about credit, business credit compared to personal credit, it's night and day. They're completely separate. They're not even close to each other. So it's educating them on the differences. And then when it comes to families and individuals, is seeing, okay, are you looking to get a car? Are you looking to get a house? Are you looking just to better your life? What are you looking to do? So meaning, what is the time frame? What is our timeline? Like with you, everyone that comes to you, they're looking for a house. So then what I tell them is, okay, what is your time frame to get this house? What is your ultimate goal? We got to be realistic, because with credit, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people think. It's like, oh, fix it fast. I'm like, but let me ask you a question. How long did it take you to get here?
Right.
We don't know how long it's going to take you to get out. So that's why I say it's a marathon, not a sprint.
What are the factors determining the time frame? Because I'm like, well, Bill, I got this couple that's got some debt. What can we look at for, how long am I going to hang on to them until they can buy a house?
Honestly, I've been doing this, like I said, 17 years, and there's like no determining factor, because we're dealing with credit bureaus. They're billion-dollar corporations that they don't care about you, only care about their pocketbooks. And that's just a fact. I mean, they can get fined by the government $20 million, and to them, that's pocket change. They don't care. They just move on. Also, we're dealing with debt collectors, that if you get a letter and you do the high effect where it's like, oh, if I don't list it, I don't look at it, I don't read it, it goes away. If you let it pass 35 days, the debt collector can take all the time it wants to try to collect on you and bug you for whatever it wants to. But if you get it or dispute it or question it within that time frame, now they have to work for it. meaning that now they're in their time from saying, hey, we have to figure this out and give them validation, itemized report, things like that to make sure it is your debt. So when we do things, we do it on a month-to-month basis because we don't know what it's going to take out. I mean, usually our goal is less than 6 months. That's our typical usually, but it can take longer. Every file is different. And that's a conversation I had with a husband and wife yesterday. They're like, how long will it take? I'm like, but you two are totally different. Even though you're married, you're totally different. So we don't know. One might finish quicker than the other, or you might finish at the same time. We don't know. I mean, we're going to try it. Well, oh, go ahead.
What about medical debt? There's lots of comments out there. Does it affect your credit?
Yes, it does, because there is that rule of thought that if it's under $600, it's not including your credit report. But recently, I got to check up on it, but recently the government's trying to fight it, or the bureaus are trying to fight it to basically put it back on. Anything above 600, it goes on to the report. So what a lot of these medical companies are doing now, instead of doing it individually, they're lumping everything together. So it goes over that threshold.
Okay.
Honestly, when someone gets a medical debt, I would seriously just question it from A to Z, because does it really cost $50 to get an aspirin? You know?
Right.
And
is that something that you do for your clients? Like, let's say I have whatever, 6,000 in medical bills. Is that something you go, Loretta, give me these bills, I'm going to contact the company, or do you advise me on how to do that?
Well, like right now, I have a client that I was just talking to this morning, and he has a medical bill. And I told him, okay, I'm going to send the debt collector, because it went from the medical company to a debt collector. Now the debt collector has it, so I'm going to send a letter to the debt collector, say, hey, give me an itemized bill of everything, of what's going on. How did you get to this figure? And then I can show that to the client, and then we can kind of figure out in game plan, is this correct? Go from there. So yes, once it hits the debt collector, I can take over and I can question them and ask them and basically verify and validate the information and say, give me an itemized breakdown of the debt to see what's really going on. If it hasn't gotten to the debt collector yet, meaning that the medical company still has it, I can talk to the client and say, okay, which way you want to go? Do you want me to do it, or do you want to do it? Sometimes you doing it might be a lot quicker because it's you. I can tell you what to say, but if you want me to do it, I can take over. So I give them that option at that point.
Is that a different fee, I guess?
No.
Okay.
All my clients pay the same fee regardless of what it is. It's monthly fee and that's it. There's no like additionals or extras or anything out of the blue that comes in. Because I also work with attorneys. So like a lot of my stuff will go to the attorneys for them to review and say, ooh, I have a rule breaker over here. You know what? Let me have this file. You do the rest.
Okay. So Arizona, we are a state that has a lot of migration. Why is credit so important for someone that's moving here?
Because it runs your whole entire life. Your car insurance is on credit, meaning they'll look at your credit report to see where you're at. Because the lower the score, the higher the rate. Your house insurance, same thing. If you're going to get an apartment, or you're going to rent a house, or you're going to buy a house, your credit score comes into play. Now, if you're going to get a job, they're going to run your credit. I've worked with numerous people in governmental agencies, usually the 3-letter words, and their credit has to be pristine, because they'll run a credit check to see if they're going to give you a higher clearance.
Gotcha.
Because if you have something bad on your credit, in their mind, now you're susceptible to bribes, where someone can come in, bribe you to get information off of you.
What do you mean to get information off you?
Because I've worked with individuals in the Pentagon.
Really?
So, yeah. And to basically better their credit so they can get the clearance they need, because a different country can come in and bribe you because they're saying, oh, you owe $10,000, $20,000. You know what? Here you go. Now give me info. Yeah, it's weird how all that works.
Yeah.
And comes together. You would never think of it, but I mean, after 17 years, I mean, I work with numerous people in the military that even the bad thing is when our soldiers go overseas to fight, because I've worked with a few of them, or more than a few, people tend to attack their credit while they're gone.
Really?
Yep, because they know they're gone. So then I'll get those individuals and they'll say, hey, just keep monitoring my stuff on a monthly basis, because they don't want to come back to a mess.
Right. That's
and
terrible.
It happens. And I mean, the biggest culprit that you would never ever think would be to get identity theft on credit are kids.
Really?
Yeah, because technically at the end of the day, I had a client in California say, hey, my 15-year-old daughter has a brand new house and a Mercedes that I have no clue what's going on.
Wow.
Because no one checks their credit because they're kids.
Sure. Yeah.
Even, babies, I mean, all that stuff. So when I teach classes, I always tell people, I'm like, you know what? Go to the credit bureau's website and run a report on your kids. Because that's the only way to do it. Run a report on your kids, see if they have something out there.
Yeah.
And if they don't, lock it, freeze it. Don't let no one access it. Because, I mean, I did it with my kids.
How do you lock it?
You can go to each individual credit bureau site and you can actually do a credit freeze. It's free.
Okay.
I'll have it myself.
So does that, though, prevent them from, say they're 15 and, the dad wants them to buy a condo when they're 18? Does that prevent them from building credit?
No, because they can still build. Like, let's say if they go to, they're 18 and they go get a credit card. Now, what they can do is they can unfreeze it for like maybe 24, 48 hours. The credit card company can run their inquiry, get them the credit card, and the freeze will go back on. So you can take it off for a period or indefinitely, whichever you prefer, and then go back and forth. Like if you're doing a home mortgage, you could unfreeze it for like 24, 48 hours, and then it'll go automatically back on.
Okay.
So you can go either way. Is it a hassle? Yes, it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I don't sugarcoat things, but is it beneficial? Yes, because people are out there in the dark web trying to steal all your information. I mean, a Social Security in the dark web goes for $5.
Yeah.
So imagine
what do you
that.
Yeah, as some of the biggest credit mistakes that people make?
Running up their credit cards and missing payments. I mean, missing payments is probably one of the biggest, because I've seen people lose 100 points with one missed payment. Just one.
So do you think it's better to set yourself on an auto pay? Pay it so that it pays all off? Do you leave some on it? What's the best thing?
Well, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, it just depends on the person itself. Everyone's I always say, like I had the client the other day say, what should I do with my credit cards? I'm like, okay, what is your financial situation right now? And he goes, if we do X, will it kill you financially? Depending on what the answer you give me, that's the answer I'm going to reply back to it. So it depends on the client. Auto pay I'm not too crazy of, because systems have issues. And if the auto pay fails, then regardless if you miss a payment, you're still held liable for it. They're not going to give you a buy because the auto pay failed. So
then it still counts as a missed payment, obviously.
Exactly.
And what should someone do if they're like, I don't have the money to make that payment that month?
If they don't have the money, honestly, bite the bullet, suck it up, and call in like a supervisor or manager. Say, hey, I'm having financial problems. What are my options?
Okay. And
so
will they extend it, or So it doesn't affect your credit?
Sometimes some will, like some car companies, I've seen it where they'll grab the payment that you're going to miss and they'll put it at the end of the loan and they'll restructure the loan because they have to restructure because everything moved. So some will do that. Some will give you 30, 60. Some credit card companies will. Can I speak for every single credit card company? No, but it doesn't hurt to try to see, hey, what's going to happen here? And if you don't ask, you won't know. So I always tell people, just ask for a supervisor or manager. Don't ask for a frontline person because they don't have the authority to make that decision, and then see what they'll do and then kind of go from there. Maybe they'll let you make partial payments and they won't ding you. But the biggest thing is if you get anything as an okay, or yes, I'll do this for you, I'll accept the partial payment. Awesome. Send me an email with all that in writing.
Okay.
Because words will not get you, will not suffice sometimes. In a piece of paper, an email or a letter, even a text message, at least you have documentation that you received something from them saying X, Y, and Z is okay to do. And that right there could save you. Because sometimes they might forget, and they forget, I'm like, hey, I got the email right here. It says you said okay. And it won't ding my record. So anytime you talk to anybody and something is being done to restructure, remove, or change, always get it in writing. Because words, to get a recording or to even to tell that person to say, hey, I did say that, it's going to be like a battle.
Gotcha. Let's talk about student loan positioning. So I just graduated from a college in California. I got a student loan. I want to move to Arizona. How do student loans affect someone's ability to buy or invest in Arizona?
Well, I think the biggest thing with student loans is when I was working for the schools, people don't understand that because no one tells them. And again, it's not their fault. Is that every time you get a student loan, depending on the school, quarter, semester, whatever they run on, you get a different loan every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So the most I've ever seen is 20 loans on a credit report. 20 individuals. So what I tell people, yes, because again, depending on the quarter, semester, how they run their system, they might be gaining one every quarter, every semester. And with student loans, you usually have two. You have subsidized and unsubsidized. Subsidized is a student loan that while you're going through school is to charge your interest. Unsubsidized is where you get hit with interest right away, as soon as you get the money. So what I tell people is if you're done with school, to really better your situation and to really kind of put everything in your favor, consolidate your student loans into one.
With the bank?
No, with the government. These are all strictly federal student loans, only federal, because if you get private loans, those are a totally different animal.
So the government will allow you to do that?
Yep. Be more than happy to. I mean, I've helped a lot of individuals that basically I'll say, hey, you know what, let's consolidate, because when you look at your student loan breakdown, every loan might have a different interest rate. So whenever you're sending your payment of, let's say, $200, and that's pretty cheap actually if you have 20 loans, now they have to split the payment 20 different ways. Do you think they're doing it interest plus principal? No, they're not, because it's hard to keep up. So I tell people is consolidate your student loan to one. Now, instead of being individualized, you put them together and you're treating it as like an example of a home loan. You're going to start it and then you're going to have an end date where you're going to pay it off. When you have it individually, your end date is good luck, because it probably won't happen, because we don't know. Because remember, they're paying 20 loans individually off of your $200. They're splitting everything up compared to the other ones.
Pay down student loans without any payout penalty?
Yes, what I usually like, I always go back to client situations. Last week, I had a client say, hey, we want to pay this much extra towards a student loan, but we want to go directly to principal, not interest. So I said, okay, great. I'm going to go to my user line is call in to the servicer that services your student loan, speak to a higher up, to a manager, supervisor, and say, this is what I want to do. And then when I send in my payment, I want to directly go to the principal, because a lot of times, some places, if you dump in a lump sum without letting them know what you're trying to do, they'll put it towards your payment and then stretch it out and say, oh, you've been paid up until 2028, let's say. So they're saying you're making payments ahead of time. So you have to physically call them and tell them, this is what I'm wanting to do, and I want to pay strictly principal. And then they'll guide you from there.
Okay. Let's talk about the other pillar of your business, the funding part, business funding. So for someone who's moving to Arizona and wants to start a business, where should they begin?
I'll go back to their credit. Because at the end of the day, even when you're doing personal funding, business funding, I'll take it as like a situation that happened to me. I went in and wanted to put a car on my business. My business credit was still a little bit shy. So what the dealership did was, he goes, okay, what we're going to do initially is we're going to put the car under your business name, but you're going to guarantee it with your personal credit because you have good personal credit. Now, when we build that relationship of both, then when you come back and bring back this lease and get a different car, we're going to put that secondary car on your business only. So you kind of have to build, you have to have a good personal credit to build the business credit, because initially they're going to look at both. They don't tell you, but they do. A lot of them don't tell you, but they do, because you have to initially build that first relationship with them. And once you've built it, then you can kind of keep progressing from there.
And what type of options are available for funding?
Oh, geez, there's a lot. There's like, equity, merchant, there is equipment, what you have. I mean, the list goes on and on of all the different things that you could do. It just depends on what they're looking for. Do they have equity in the business? Do they have equipment that they've already paid for that we use that as equity, or they can use that as collateral? Do they have good personal credit where they can personally guarantee it to then get their business funding loan? Or do they already have established business credit? Because there are some credit cards out there that will say, oh yeah, we're business credit, but they technically are not. They're both business and personal.
Okay.
Like American Express Platinum, they're strictly business. US Bank Business Platinum, they're strictly business. So there's some credit cards that are strictly business that only show up on your business credit, not your personal. And doesn't matter what happens to your business, your personal is not affected. So meaning that some people can build the wall where business over here, personal is over here. And they don't cross each other.
Right?
Yeah, and so this way they don't cross each other, because you want to separate them.
Do you have any advice on, I don't know if you could say this or not, but what credit cards to use for personal, what cards to use for business, the ones that are the best for points or cashback? Or
honestly, I would say, me personally, my personal opinion, for me, I like American Express Platinum and US Bank Platinum for business only. Then for personal, I like US Bank and a couple of the Chase credit cards. I do have some Capital Ones, which is also a good one. Capital One has a lot of products that you can use and utilize, where it's starter card, points, depending on where you want to go. They give good options for people. But again, you have to have, at the end of the day, everything goes back. You have to have the score to be able to get certain cards.
Got it.
That's the big indicator where people kind of miss out. Like, oh, I got denied on a credit card. I've even had a client come in the office, say, I've been banking with Wells Fargo for 20 years. I'm going to go get a secure credit card. I got $1,000 in my pocket. I'm like, they're going to deny you because you're short. I go, Wells Fargo is right down the street from me. He came back a half hour later, goes, I got denied. I'm like, I told you so.
Really?
Yeah, because they looked at a score. They didn't care you had the money in hand. They looked at a score.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
For secure credit cards, I will say this. The big three banks don't like doing secure credit cards, which is Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. They don't.
Okay. We talked a little bit about the show, about what's going on in the world, and what do you see as far as trends with the society in general, with financing and credit? What are you seeing?
It's funny you say that, because we had a meeting yesterday with some realtors and some lenders, and the funny thing is that everything is up in the air, because we don't know. It's so volatile right now. It's going up and down. We're living it day by day, in a sense. So we just have to, almost in a sense, we have to enjoy the ride and see where it goes, which is kind of like a bad answer to say, but that's where we're at right now. Because 1 minute we're doing good, the next minute we're like, oh, what just happened? You're like, wait a minute. So I always tell people is, let's try to prepare for the now and the future. Meaning, let's try to set ourselves correctly. Try to put money away to save it, because you don't know what's going to happen. Make sure you got all your bills lined up and ready to go. And you have a system. That's the big thing. Have a system for your bills. I mean, I still use Excel spreadsheet for tracking all my bills.
I hate Excel.
I know. Here's the thing. It makes you work for it.
Yeah, totally. There's got to be an easier way.
No, there is an easier way, which there's apps for it, but Excel makes you work for it, makes you physically, because here's a great example. I had a 20-year-old kid, it was like years ago, come into my office. He goes, I have a budget problem. I'm like, okay, let's figure it out. I give him a notepad with a pen. It goes, here you go, write everything down you do every single day on what you spend on, and come back in 2 weeks. I don't want no apps. I don't want nothing. I want physical writing down, because it makes you realize what you're doing. In 2 weeks, he came back. He goes, I spent too much money on Starbucks. He goes, I go, what do you mean? He goes, I spent over $150 a week on Starbucks. He goes, wow, look at that. That's $600 a month that you can go back in your pocket. Have you ever figured out a coffee brewer at the store? Maybe less than $100. Do it at home. But that's the thing. That's the reason why I do the Excel, is because it makes you work for it.
Although on Starbucks, yesterday I was at a real estate convention. They told us to go to Starbucks every morning and make sure that people see you working on real estate. So I don't know. Really? I guess if you get leads, then it's kind of worth it. But you got to put money there first. I always laugh about that episode. Do you watch Seinfeld?
I used to.
So do you ever seen that episode where Jerry, what's his name? What's the tall guy's name? Kramer says to Jerry, well, it's a write-off. It's like, well, I still got to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. You got to initially pay for it. It might be a write-off at the end of the year, but you still got to take the initial hit.
The money's got to come from somewhere. And as a realtor, we're always banking on, well, if that works, it's one more deal. If it's going to get us one more deal, I've heard that my 30 years, and you don't always get that one deal.
Yeah, I mean, life is unexpected. It's like you don't know which way it's coming or going. So that's why I told the kid, I'm like, there you go. And that was just his first start. He was doing other stuff and he wrote down other things, but he told me what he did wrong. And that's what I wanted, because he physically worked for it, meaning he wrote it down himself. And then he realized, goes, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So that's why I use Excel.
Yeah. So you deal with a lot of people. What's the number one thing you see financially successful people versus people who struggle? What is the constant?
One, not all financial people or like high net worth people are good with their finances. I've helped a few, but the majority of them know their numbers.
Okay.
That's the big thing. They know what's going in, what's coming out, when is it due, what is their score. They know the number because everything deals or goes down towards the numbers and what's coming in, what's going out. Because at the end of the day, the numbers will speak for itself.
Right. And that's probably a good way to get into the saving habit because you know what you're going to have left to save. So where can people find you and learn more about you? And for those watching and listening, we will post this afterwards, but just in case you're got your pen handy.
Well, they can either call me on my personal line, which is 480-861-3805, or they can go to theparkingmethod.com and they can go in there and book an appointment with me. Every consultation that I have, the initial one, is always free. I always have a free consultation. If it's either in person or in the office, because my offices are in Tempe off of Lakeshore, which is a cross-reach of Rural and Baseline. They're always free. You're more than welcome. Sometimes I'd rather see you in person than over the phone because then we get to know each other a little bit better than just hearing a voice. But that initial appointment, we'll kind of go through it. Sometimes I'll get the credit report. I'll dump it into my AI system that'll go through it real quickly and see what needs to be done. Then I'll double check it, then I'll tell them, okay, here's what we need to do. And then from there, the client decides, okay, yes, I want to utilize the services, or you know what? Sometimes I've even told clients, I'm like, you don't need me. You don't need me. You just need to do X, Y, and Z, and you're done.
Right.
And I have no problem doing that because at the end of the day, I'd rather be upfront than, beat around the bush.
Right. And also for those watching, Bill, also because he was born and lived in Puerto Rico, he speaks Spanish fluently. So
with the disclaimer,
with a disclaimer that it might be Spanish.
Yeah, because I usually tell them, I'm like, hey, I'm speaking Puerto Rican Spanish, not because there's different dialects. Right. Or at least I tell them, and they're like, oh, okay, thank you for letting me know, because I know some of our words are going to go off because it's different, dialect, different slangs, but at least this way we still meet the end goal, which is get the point across of what needs to be done.
So I don't know if you know or not, but you probably figured out that I'm actually Canadian, and I do work with a lot of people from different countries, Canada, Mexico. Do you help people from other countries if they have issues, if they have a credit issue in another country?
No, only in the United States, because their system is different than ours.
Okay. I suppose
unless
guide them on this is what we do here, it might work there.
Well, I can do that. I can say, hey, here's what we do here. Maybe it might be the same thing there. I could do some research and see. But if they have a social security number, which basically that's what's built all this credit stuff, that's where I can, okay, now since you have a social security number, I can guide you what's here.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your morning. It was very educational. I know there's a lot of people as a realtor kind of sitting on the fence and waiting to see what's going to happen. But while you're sitting on the fence, make sure that you reach out to Charles W. Parker and make sure that your credit is pristine so that when you are ready to get off the fence, you're ready to roll, and make sure that you're ready to buy a house.
Yeah. And I mean, the one thing I would also say and add to the end of this is that don't be afraid to face the music. Don't be afraid to, head it head on, because it doesn't go away.
And it happens to everybody. What happens to everybody? And it's not going to get better.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse. So you might as well just face it, head it head on, because you don't want a garnishment. And all of a sudden the court's getting you on a garnishment out of the blue because you never paid attention to it. You talk to an individual like myself or another colleague and try to figure it out and see what you can do.
You can't avoid the mailbox. Well, I don't know if they come in the mailbox all the time, or the calls or whatever. Just get down, give you a call, and get rid of that stuff so you can move on to a more successful future. Thanks so much, Charles. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. You have a great day yourself.
You too.